Broadcasting from Cincinnati, you're listening to the Ringside Reporter podcast. All the news from the world of boxing right here.
Well, I'm talking to you the way I want to talk to you.
Now, here's your host, Eric Lorda.
And we are live. Welcome to the Ringside Reporter Show, where we talk about the latest boxing news. If it's related to boxing, we'll talk about it here. My name is Eric Lorta, and I'm here with my co-host, Joe Habib, and we have a great show for you today. And if you want to call in and ask questions, you can call in at 323-870-3857, and we'll be here till about 8:30 tonight. Listen, I don't know how long we're going to be here. Just enjoy us while we're here. How about that, Beeb? That sound good to you?
That's what it's about, man.
That's what it's about, right? That's what we do.
No time limit on greatness.
That's what I'm saying. That's what we're about. All right, so tonight we're going to talk about Canelo and DAZN. They seem to have restructured their contract. We'll have the latest on that. The Barrientos twins, Chavez and Angel, will be joining us soon. But first, let's get started with this pay-per-view, man, the Showtime pay-per-view last night. Before we even get into the fights, man, so I want to talk to you about this pay-per-view a little bit. It was six fights on there. All right, 6 fights. A lot of boxing. I like it. I love it. I love all the boxing. You know what I like? I'll tell you what I like most about the pay-per-view. What I like most is that there was everything. As soon as one fight was over, they were getting the next guys on. There was no waiting. It's not like a regular one where it's like a 15-minute intermission between the fights. They were rolling. So when one fight was over, they brought another guy out. There was no like ring walk or anything as far as like, ring walks are going to take place at 11:30 for the main event or whatever. They just went. And that's what I liked about it, But I'm with you. I hated that 30-minute intermission.
Yeah.
There was zero reason for the 30-minute intermission.
When that intermission was on, I'm not even lying to you. This is not just to sound funny. I was literally slapping myself in the face to try to stay awake. It was just so, no disrespect, but that guy Luke Thomas has the personality of a piece of styrofoam. He is just so dry.
That is so disrespectful. My goodness.
The thing about it is, do you want the pretty lie? Do you want the pretty lie or the ugly truth?
I'd rather have a pretty lie. I'm always about the pretty lie.
This is the red shirt representing the red pill. The red pill is the ugly truth. All right. I don't give people the pretty lie. Okay.
I'm not a big Luke Thomas fan, but I'm sure he's not a big fan of mine either. But he was a little bit dry, I thought.
He's just dry. He's just like,
yeah.
And he tries to sound like so scientific about everything, and right. He just tries too hard. But I'll say one thing that was a pleasant surprise for me last night, because I didn't really know how the pay-per-view was going to be structured. So basically, what you had was two pay-per-views combined into one, and you had Jermell headline the first half of the pay-per-view, and you had Jermell headlining the second half, right? I didn't know they were going to do it like that. So it was kind of cool that I was able to watch Jermell and I didn't have to wait like to the end. Like I had to wait. That was
really a good idea.
That was pure genius there.
It was, man, because like you said, when you figure this out and you're like, well, I'm going to have to wait until, 11 o'clock to see this or whatever.
Yeah.
No, he was on, the first half of that card was really good. It kept your attention. All the fights were good. They were, and it really kept your attention. After that intermission, it just went downhill for me. Because
I'm going to give that pay-per-view a B+. Would have got an A, but that intermission brought it down like half a point.
I'm going to give that pay-per-view a C, son.
What?
A solid C.
No, that was a B+.
A solid C, son.
B+.
Solid C. Wasn't close to a D. Don't get offended. I give it about a 75.
How about a C+? Can you eke it up to a C+ at least?
I can give you a 76. That's as far as I'm going to go.
Well, it's a C+. It's a C+.
Well, no, a 70. Well, yeah, I guess it would be. I don't know. Listen,
it's a C+. Ask Lisa. Ask Lisa. She knows how to grade.
Yeah, if at least if you're listening, tell me what a C+ is. Anywho, so like I said, man, after that 30-minute intermission, and then they go into what fight was that? That was the oh yeah. Let me see. I got it written down. It was awful. That fight, that is not the fight you want to come back from the intermission on. Danny Roman versus Juan Carlos Payano. That is not the fight you want to come back from an intermission. You want to come back on an intermission on that Casimero fight. That gets your attention. You know what I mean? He comes in, knocks the guy out right quick. You know, let me tell you what, man. It was bad. That fight was just not good. You know, that was a boring.
That was probably the only fight that I wasn't crazy about on the whole card. I liked every single fight. Well, that fight was a tad bit of a downer. I will say that.
The Luis Neri, and that's the other thing. All right, so then you got Luis Neri coming up. All right, that guy is a knockout artist. That's all they kept saying.
Yeah,
he's a knockout artist, this and that, and then we all have seen Luis Neri before. This is going to be like seeing Inoue. You know what I mean? We know what to expect here. He's got he's got a new trainer, Eddie Reynoso. All right, and he looked good, but he didn't look like Neri. You know what I mean? He didn't look like his old self. He looked like a good fighter. He looked like a new improved. But I like the old Neri better. I don't know if this new, I don't know. What were your thoughts on him, man?
I thought he was a little bit more measured in this fight than normal. That may be a good thing or a bad thing. Maybe he's trying to be more of a boxer. Trying to maybe not put himself in harm's way as much. Maybe he's looking. He's at a point in his career now where he's looking at longevity. He wants to try to minimize the punishment he's taking. And he realizes that I have boxing skills and maybe I can win. I don't have to make all my fights firefights. They don't have to be, bombs away all the time. I don't have to go out of my way to make the fight exciting. I can win and still fight well, but not have to be so aggressive all the time. And I thought there were spots where he did step on the gas, but there were also times when he was just a little bit laid back. And the thing with Alameda is maybe he was anticipating and prepared for the other Neri, so he kind of laid back as well, thinking that Neri was probably going to come to him.
Yeah,
and it didn't play out that way, So I think Neri could have paced himself. He still, he could have maybe been a little bit more active with punches. He didn't have to throw everything hard, but he still could have touched Alameda, and his output was uncharacteristically really low. Now again, you don't have to be bombs away. You don't have to be over aggressive all the time, but it is kind of good. And, you do want to touch your opponent. You want to have him reacting to certain things you're doing in there so you can create openings. You don't want to just wait all the time and be a little bit too methodical in there because, against a different type of guy who's gonna fight a faster pace, who's gonna pick up the pace on you, you could end up losing rounds due to inactivity. But who knows if he was forced to pick up the pace? I think once he got hit a few times. Every time he got hit, it seems like he snapped into that old Neri for a little bit. He just wasn't able to sustain that style for the whole fight. So I think that's something that he'll always have in his back pocket. That'll never go away. But maybe, again, the new trainer in there, maybe he just tried to do some different things in there. Maybe he wanted to see if he could, box more. If he could win rounds without having to just go in there and get in his opponent's chest, because he's a very aggressive fighter. And at certain times we've criticized him for being too aggressive, overly aggressive. So I think once he finds that happy medium and gets that balance down, I think that he'll be fine.
But this isn't the way. I mean, he's on a pay-per-view, right? He's on an undercard of a big pay-per-view.
Yeah.
going on right before the main event.
Yeah.
That's not the best look, man. I mean, I don't want to see new and improved Luis Neri in there who wants to box now instead of get rid of his guy. And especially with that fight beforehand, that is not the fight I want to see.
Yeah. Well, to your point, maybe this type of setting may not be the proper time to unleash or unveil this new version, version of yourself. And that's a fair point that you make. And I'm sure pretty much the consensus out there, they would agree with you.
Well, listen, I mean, and not to take anything away, Aaron Almeida was undefeated. He's a good boxer. He wasn't on Neri's level, but he's a very good boxer. And maybe I'm giving him too little credit. Maybe I give it Neri too much. I don't know. Yeah. But it's just not what I wanted to see.
You could argue the fight was close. It was I thought it was like an 8-4 type fight, maybe even 7-5 if you wanted to be give Alameda every benefit of the doubt.
Right.
I thought it was a competitive fight,
Right.
But again, like JC says, Alameda is no slouch. I mean, he's a decent opponent. So maybe Neri didn't want to take any unnecessary chances with him. Maybe he wanted to just win and look good the next time out. Who knows? Yeah. But to your point, you make a fair point. I mean, and a lot of people agree with you. People that buy these pay-per-views, they want to watch a different type of fight. That's just what people want to watch.
Especially after the first, like I said, man, that first part of the card was so good.
Yeah.
And then you get to that second part of the card, and it was just awful.
But sometimes I like to see good boxing. I like to see good chess matches sometimes, but
not after an intermission. You don't, man. Not after that. That was a tough one. I mean, if it would have kept going, I probably wouldn't have had as much of a problem with it.
Yeah.
If it would have kept, but that intermission. Yeah. I mean, you got so much momentum going here, man. Why?
What are you doing? I totally get what you're saying here. I mean, I can't dispute what you're saying here. You make very strong, fair points here.
So let's talk about the Charlo Rosario fight. Jermell Charlo versus Jeison Rosario, the main event here.
Okay.
Charlo wins via KO in the 8th round. Honestly, I didn't like the fight when it was made. I didn't think it was going to be that competitive. And quite honestly, I don't think it was. The end came in the 8th round. Beeb, I need some help with this because when he hit him with this shot, it looks like it hit him right on the belt line. All right, right where his protector was. When I saw it, it looked like it hit on the belt line.
Partially hit him in the elbow too. Partially hit him in the elbow as well. It looked like it looked like it was partially blocked. Not to cut you off.
Rosario goes down like a sack of potatoes, basically, and he's like almost like convulsing. And I think it was like maybe a spasm in his stomach or something like that. But that was not a sternum shot. That was a gut shot.
Both again.
Listen.
I'm going to be careful here because I wasn't in the ring and I didn't take the shots.
Right.
I'm going to be very careful here.
How dare you?
But I will say this. Both knockdowns to me, and again, I wasn't taking the shots. So I am not going to be disrespectful to Rosario in any way. The punches that landed just did not look like devastating punches, in my opinion.
The last punch did not look devastating.
Like
put it that
the
way.
First knockdown, I thought he was off balance. Possibly, maybe he slipped, but obviously it was a legitimate knockdown.
Yeah.
That last punch. How many times have we seen like Floyd Mayweather throw that punch?
Like 90,000.
And it looked like he would hit his opponent much harder than that punch landed, right? And I just didn't see that result, But I got to give Charlo a lot of credit in this fight because he's been criticized as of late for just looking for the knockout. And again, I thought he was a little bit, I'm going to say, measured as well in a different way than Neri was, because he wasn't overly aggressive. He was still popping the jab out there. He was stepping in, but he wasn't like really pulling back with that right hand and loading up and looping it. He was shooting the right hand nice and straight. He was finishing up combinations, going to the body. He was moving in and out. And he was resetting really quick, transitioning really quick. And when he did, when he did slow down and take his breaks a little bit, here and there, he did it when he was out of range. He made sure he was out of range. He wasn't hanging around in the middle of the pocket like he's done in other fights, like he did against Harrison.
Yeah,
because Harrison's a long, lanky guy. So this time I thought he had his spacing down a lot better in this fight, and I thought he paced himself better in this fight. I didn't think that he took extensive periods of time off in the rounds like he did in other fights where he was just looking to load up. I thought he was more consistent, more measured, more poised in this fight. And I think the quality of punches, delivering them straighter, not as wide, and he was throwing combinations and not just loading up. Because in recent fights, he was really trying to oversell that right hand and load up and loop it, particularly in that Harrison fight. And in this fight, I thought he was really short, crisp, straight down the pike, wasn't really looping much. And I thought he kept a consistent jab in Rosario's face, which kept him occupied. But again, I thought Rosario,
it was clearly I thought it was a one-sided fight. And that's what I said beforehand. I didn't think it was that competitive.
I'm going to disagree with you a little bit in that regard, because I thought Rosario did well with his jab as well, too. I thought he won rounds. I think if you take away the knockdowns, I think the fight would be competitive in the scoring. I think you could argue that Rosario may have won maybe 2 or 3 rounds, maybe 3. I think I gave Rosario 3 rounds in the fight. I mean, he was behind, but obviously way behind because of the knockdowns. But in terms of rounds, I think he had his moments. Like in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th, I thought he had a pretty good 3rd, 4th, and 5th. I thought he was doing very well with his jab as well, and he was going to the body with success as well. But he just couldn't seem to push Charlo back and hurt him. Both of these Charlo brothers are very strong and durable, and they're just tough guys, man. They're just tough physically. They're just both smart fighters. They have it all, to be honest with you. They have it all.
Have you ever seen anybody, Nacho says in the chat, he says that Ishe Smith said he's never seen anyone go down on a jab to the stomach as a knockout ever in his 20 years of pro boxing.
Not as a knockout, but as a knockdown.
Yeah, he was knocked out. Yeah, I mean, we've seen it knocked down because I've seen people off balance or something like that.
I've seen Floyd knock guys down with jabs to the belly.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it wasn't like, I don't know, man. I don't know. It just... Again, I'm not taking the shot. I'm not in there. I'm not taking the shot. I didn't go 8 rounds with him and then take the shot. It just, I've never seen it. So either he's got glass in his stomach or Charlo's just got a wicked left jab. I don't know.
Yeah, it was a weird series of events. That 8th round. I don't know I don't know how to describe it.
I'm looking at it. I was like, what? When he hit him and he went down, I was just like, okay. And then he looked like he started convulsing, almost like he had like spasms in his stomach. Yeah. And maybe, listen, you know how when you get hit with a body shot, you tense up. Yeah. Maybe it was like the only thing I could think of is maybe it was like a Charlie horse. You know how you have a Charlie horse in your calf and that muscle just tenses up and just kind of like. That's the only thing I think of. I don't know. Was it a liver shot?
I think he was doing well too. Like in the middle rounds, I thought he was doing okay. I gave him 3 rounds. I thought the fight was competitive.
I don't know. I mean, I think he was there. He wasn't going to win the fight.
Yeah.
He wasn't.
You know what's funny
to me, about numbers wise, he wasn't in the fight.
You know what's funny about Jermell? He has such belief in his punching power that he feels as though if he hits anyone clean, that he can get him out of there. And both of the Charlo brothers, if you look at their demeanor when they're in there,
right?
It's almost like both of these brothers. We talked about F.A. Ajagbe, I think it was last week.
F.A. Ajagbe, the heavyweight, yeah.
And I told you I don't think he's a natural fighter, and a lot of that's based off of instinct. Now, when you look at these Charlo brothers, it's almost as if they know, like Andre Ward's trainer, Virgil Hunter, said this. Like he said that Andre Ward was able to process things faster than other fighters. And what that means basically in layman's terms is they could see the fight unfold. They can almost see it ahead of time before it actually happens. They can anticipate what their opponent is going to do before they actually do it, and they're able to react to it before the opponent actually completes their movement. So in other words, they know when they can anticipate their opponent's movements. They can anticipate what the punches their opponent's going to throw, and they know how to react to that and adjust and adapt to that accordingly. Because if you looked at Jermell, he was timing Rosario's jab, and when Rosario would step forward, he was kind of slipping, and then he was shooting the right hand. He was picking up on the rhythm. He was picking up on the movement. He was timing everything that Rosario was doing, and that's why he was able to kind of pick him apart a little bit and get there and land those shots. Same thing with Jermell. I know we're going to talk about the fight later, but if you notice one thing that Derevyanchenko does, he likes to bop his head to the right, bop his head to the left, and then he'll bop his head to the right. And he always seems to go back to the left because he likes to put himself in position to land that left hook, right? And he likes to go to the body with it, and he likes to double up and go to the head. So he goes body head with it when he's inside. And he did that against Golovkin with huge success, did it against Jacobs. But see, again, being able to have the instincts in there and being able to have that, be able to process things. Charlo was picking up on the rhythm, so he knew bop to the right, bop to the left, bop to the right, and he knew that at the end, Derevyanchenko's head was always going to be to that left side. So what did he do? He threw that uppercut, but not just a regular conventional uppercut. He threw a 45-degree angle uppercut, okay? And he knew, and he was able to place that shot perfectly, and because he knew Derevyanchenko's head was going to be there. That's just being able to read how the fight's going, read your opponent, knowing what he's going to do and timing what he's going to do it, and just beat him to the spot before he's there, and he's able to execute what he wants to do. You cut him off at the pass. And that's what both of these Charlo brothers are able to do. That's why they're so explosive, that when they land a power punch, you see their opponent have that look of shock in their face, because there's a surprise element to it, because their opponent's not anticipating that they're going to be able to anticipate what they're doing and be able to stop it right then and there before they can actually finish what they want to do. So that's the thing. And when you look at Jermell, when he threw that uppercut, and because it's from the 45-degree angle, sort of like what Oscar De La Hoya used to do from the left side, he used to throw that uppercut, but it was like the 45-degree half hook, half uppercut. Jermell does it with the right hand. And when you do that from an angle like that, Derevyanchenko is looking straight ahead. So if the uppercut's coming conventionally up the middle, he could see that and cross his arms and block it. But when it's coming from an angle and your eyes are focused straight ahead, you can't see that. So that's why Jermell was able to land that. So these guys have really good instincts in there. They know how to read their opponent very well, and they really know how to decode what their opponent's going to do. That's why I'm so dangerous, even at 51, because you see how I could look at what Derevyanchenko was doing, and I knew that at the end, he's moving his head from side to side, throwing feints. I always knew at the end that his head was going to end up on the left side. This is the thing, that the Beeb has a microprocessor with automatic iOS updates regularly. Even at 51, I have the instincts. See how a lot of people wouldn't be able to see what I see. They wouldn't be able to break it down like that, knowing why is Derevyanchenko keep getting hit with that uppercut? Because because he's being timed when his head always ends up on that left side. This is what it is, man. This is being able to be one step ahead. It's all up here. Up here.
You're an idiot savant, minus the savant. All right.
A lot of haters out there, man. A lot of
haters out there.
Even the Twins know what I'm talking about. They know what I'm talking about.
Do you guys, let me ask you guys a question. This is Angel and Chavez Barrientos back with us. So let me ask you guys a question. Do you think at 51 Beeb would still be dangerous?
I mean,
that laugh says it all, baby. That laugh says it all. He still got it.
They know me. They'll let me down there do some sparring. They need the intellectual.
Let me tell you what. The pay-per-view last night at $74 I thought was overpriced. But if I could see Beeb spar either one of the Barrientos, I would pay $75 for that. Or not. Quickly. $75.
I learned one thing last night. Jermell Charlo is by far and away the best middleweight in the world.
Yeah, better than Canelo?
Better than Canelo, and I'll tell you why.
You guys think he's better than Canelo?
I'm not sure about that one. I mean, Charlos they're good, but Canelo's a big step.
Yeah, if they fight, I feel like it would have been a fight.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that fight that Andre Ward had against Edison Miranda before he entered the Super 6 tournament?
Yeah.
After that fight, I said to myself, Andre Ward's the real deal. You know why I said that? Because I always knew Andre Ward could fight. I knew he was a very good boxer. I knew he could move. I knew he was very skillful, right? But in that fight against Edison Miranda, the one question I had was, does he have grit? Can he get in the trenches and fight when he has to? And Edison Miranda made him get in the trenches, and he made him fight. So he had to add that wrinkle to his performance on that particular night. Jermell Charlo added that wrinkle in his performance last night because he had to fight with grit against a gritty guy like Derevyanchenko. He was able, if you look when you saw Derevyanchenko fight Golovkin had a hard time when Derevyanchenko got in his chest. He wasn't able to be as fluid with his combinations against Charlo because, again, Charlo had the instincts. He was seeing him bop from one side to the other, but he always knew at the end his head was going to be on that left side. That's when he shot that 45-degree uppercut. Jacobs couldn't do that. So that's why when Al Bernstein was saying, I want to see Derevyanchenko double up with that hook to the body and hook to the head. Why couldn't he do it? Because every time he threw the one hook, Charlo would shoot that 45 uppercut in his face, and he would break up the momentum and break up the rhythm of that combination. He would just disrupt break that combination right in mid-flow.
Yeah.
Jacobs could not do that, and Golovkin could not do that.
Yeah.
I don't care. I still think Canelo beats him.
Charlo is the best middleweight in the world because he answered the one last question that everyone had. Could he get in the trenches with a tough veteran like Derevyanchenko? And he looked
already answered those questions. Right?
Yeah.
He's already answered.
Canelo went life and death with Golovkin. He went life. I thought he lost both fights against Golovkin.
He went life and death with Golovkin.
Derevyanchenko
what you're saying. Triple G, son.
Derevyanchenko beat up Golovkin way worse than Canelo did, in my opinion.
Stop it.
All right? So you just put those Canelo pom-poms down. I know you got a contract with the Zone. I know you're working for the Zone behind the scenes. I know you're a Golden Boy surrogate. I know this.
Nothing wrong with Oscar. All right, listen, I'm done talking about Canelo. I'm done talking about Derevyanchenko.
Let's talk about the twins.
I want to talk about the real twins. I want to talk about the real twins, the real champs, the Barrientos twins. Angel Chavez this Saturday, October 3rd on FS1, Fox Deportes. The card starts at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Guys, all right, Angel, you're fighting Fernando Ibarra. Is that right?
Yeah.
And then Chavez is fighting Ivan Varela. How excited are you guys to be on the Fox Sports 1 in front of a national audience, man?
Yeah, we're really excited. We've been working really hard, and with this whole Corona thing, set us back a little bit. We finally get a debut on TV, so we're really excited to perform.
Yeah, we got a lot of dates just canceled, and like it's finally our time to just perform. So yeah, we're just excited to just get in the ring and just even fight.
Very good, man. Very good. So, Angel, what do you know about Fernando Ibarra?
I know he's a decent guy. He's fought a couple people I know, but I know he's not on our level, and it's not gonna. We're gonna go out there and just do our job, see what happens, and if the knockout comes, it's gonna come. But we're just gonna go out there and do what I do.
Now, Chavez, what do you know about Ivan Varela? What do you know about your opponent?
Same thing. I know a couple dudes that fought him. I know that he's a little slow. He tries to box. I'm gonna just stick to my game plan and do what I do. Behind my jab. Just be smart.
Listen to my dad.
Yeah.
Chavez to me just looks like a killer, man. He doesn't say much. He's real calm, and he just says, basically, I'm just gonna run him over. I mean, that's basically what I heard from that. From what I just heard him say, my translation of that is, I'm going to go in there, I'm going to murk this guy quickly, and that's going to be that.
Who's got more game out of the two of you guys? Who gets more girls? Who's the playboy? Who's the playboy out of the brothers?
I don't know. I got to say, I don't know. Which one? Who gets more chicks, man? Come on.
No comment.
Yeah.
Let me ask you. I'm going to ask you a personal. I'm going to ask you a personal question, right? You don't have to answer this.
Oh, Beeb.
Has there ever been a time when like one brother would be in the room with the girl and start it off, and then maybe leave and go to the bathroom, and the other one sneaks in, and she doesn't, and the girl
what's the matter with you?
And the girl can't tell which, obviously which one it is. Did you ever run that game? Did you ever run that game on a girl before?
I mean, a lot of girls can't tell us apart, but we never done that before.
Never done that?
Yeah, because they're gentlemen, Beeb. What's the matter with you? I don't know what kind of sick games you play in Boston, but in California, Las Vegas, and especially Ohio.
If I had a twin, I would try that once. I would try that at least once. You wouldn't?
Yeah.
I just answered you. What's the matter with you?
Do you ever think of doing that before, guys?
Nah,
never. Okay.
Yeah. So you'll have to excuse the Beeb today. I don't know what he's,
sorry, a little too much caffeine today. I'm sorry.
He's on meth. What are you going to do? What can I do? I can't help him. He's got to go to rehab for that. So, so let me ask you a question. Who's going to get the knockout? Both of you guys are going to win by knockout. Who's going to do it faster?
That's obvious the plan, but we can't go out there looking for it. If it comes, it's going to come. But we're just going to go out there and.
We're just gonna go out there, use our jab box, and if the knockout comes, it comes.
Yeah, it's gonna come.
So let me ask you this, because last time, obviously, when we spoke, that we were going through the coronavirus and we were just transitioning, getting back to the sport of boxing. Has there been some type of normalcy now that things are starting to flow a little bit? Is the have things seem to have gotten back to normal in terms of the training, the preparation? Do you feel a lot more comfortable now as opposed to how you possibly may have felt a couple months ago when last time we spoke?
Yeah, everything's again starting to get back to normal. I mean, for the most part, gyms are open back up, getting more sparring because everything's getting a little bit more open. So since back then we talked, it's been a lot more opened up now.
Yeah, we were able to, spar more. We had like a regular training camp this time.
Pretty much.
Everything went good.
That's good. Now, do you anticipate being able to have a better schedule now? Does it look like there's going to be a lot more dates opening up now because boxing is now back in the swing? Yeah. PBC's got a killer schedule. Do you anticipate being on some of these bigger cards, or do you think that you're gonna stick to the FS1 cards? Could you possibly be on a pay-per-view like at least on the bottom end, like that, the bottom end of it at some point in the near future? Because there's even a lot of pay-per-view fights out there on PBC right now.
So we're taking one fight at a time, but we have a lot of dates lined up for us. A couple big.
That's awesome. That's great.
So. You also seeing us a lot more.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be the key, especially for you guys. You're young, you're up and coming. I think that the key for you guys is going to be that consistency. And we want to see you, man. I want to see you out there. I want to see you out there on TV and stuff like that. I'm excited. I'm really excited. Now, Beeb, let me ask you a question now. Once they get on national TV, do you think they'll ever come back to the show again?
I was going to ask them. This is what I'm going to ask you.
I can see it in their face. Trust me, son, they ain't coming back after Saturday. They ain't coming back on here. I'll tell you that. They ain't coming back, son. They're bigger.
I'm going over the top here right now, and I'm going to ask you if you could possibly make a pledge that when you become world champions, will you start off your victory lap at Ringside Reporter? Can you at least make that pledge to us right now?
No, we got a lot of interviews that we do, but we make.
Whoa!
Whoa! Whoa! I love it. I love it.
They're equivocating on that question.
You know what? I don't. What? Like I said, man, these guys are going to blow up. Come Saturday, once the national TV sees first round knockouts and everything like that, that's going to be it, son. We ain't never seeing these guys again.
Yeah, we'll come back.
Come back? Will you come back? Will you come back?
Yeah.
Come back with the title. Will you come back with the title belts?
Yeah, we will for sure.
Awesome, man.
There you go.
So, all right, so Beeb, let's do this. So, let's pick here. We know they're both going to win. That's a no-brainer. Who do you think knocks them out the fastest?
You know what? This is what we're going to do.
Let's do a pie bet. So I'm going to take one. You're going to take the other.
No, this is what we're going to do.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah,
the twin.
You have the floor now.
The twin that knocks out their opponent faster. We will send them a Ringside Reporter T-shirt. How's that?
All right, that works. That works.
All right.
Yeah. That works.
We'll send you the twin that knocks out their opponent faster. We will send you a Ringside Reporter T-shirt.
Who do you think knocks who out faster?
Who do I think?
I think Chavez knocks his guy out.
I was going to say Chavez too.
Chavez, I don't even show up to that fight.
I was going to say Chavez
I don't even
too.
show up. I mean, and they're both dangerous, but Chavez to me.
Chavez is
he's got a look in his eyes that just scares me. Okay?
He's got that killer look. Like he has that look in his eyes. Like if you cross him the wrong way, he'd slap the shit out of you in a second. Yeah, Angel's kind of more laid back. He'll probably talk it out.
Angel, I feel like I could talk my way out of it. Like if I got in a dispute with Angel,
if I bumped into Angel,
I could talk my way out of that.
If I bumped into Angel and he spilled his drink, I would be able to buy him another one before I could buy Chavez.
Right.
Before I could buy Chavez another one, I think
I'm getting hit. Yeah, I'm getting hit before I get Chavez.
I think he'd probably club me in the head. I think
right. Yeah, I feel like
I could be wrong.
I think I could talk my way out of it with Angel.
Yeah,
am I right about that, guys?
Yeah, I'm pretty nice, man. I'm not no killer. On the ring.
Yeah, I don't believe it, man. I don't believe it. I hear what you say, but I don't know.
I don't know. It's the quiet ones you got to watch out for. You heard about that, right?
That's it. I'm not talking my way out of Chavez, man.
I'm the meaner one. Chavez the nicer one.
Okay.
You're the mean one. Chavez is the nicer one.
Isn't that ironic? The guy, the one that's named Angel, is is the more aggressive. All right.
So did you guys? Let me ask you a question. Did you guys watch the card last night? The pay-per-view, the Charlo pay-per-view.
Yeah, we watched all of them.
You watched all of them. Okay. So what were your thoughts on that, man? What did you think of the first Charlo, the first one with Derevyanchenko, man? What were your thoughts on that?
I felt like he did great. He stuck to his game plan the whole time. He kept using his jab. I feel like he never switched his game plan up. He was just staying behind that jab and just being smart.
Yeah, he was in there with a tough dude too, and he was able to control it and get off clean shots, not get his hit as much. So he did a good job. Yeah.
Good stuff, man. So, and then what about the main event, the Charlo versus Rosario? Let me ask you this, because this was kind of a topic of discussion when we first got on here. Have you ever seen anybody knocked out with that kind of body shot to the stomach?
Nah, never. That was like the first.
That was like a rare shot, but yeah, I mean, even when he got dropped, though, it looked like he was like gasping for air. So that was probably just a clean shot.
Yep. Yeah,
do you think it was more of a question? That's a good point. I never thought about that. Do you think it's more of a question the guy was just gassed out and that's why he went down from that?
Yeah. He just got hit right in like the sweet spot.
Yeah, he was already broken down. He got dropped twice, and he just finished him off to the body. And it was just it was just a good stiff jab.
Yeah, so it more than likely could have been an accumulation of punishment that he took, and that may have just been the dagger that was the end that made it the end of it, I guess, right?
Yeah, I think so. That's a good point. You know what? And I never thought about that. He did look gassed to me. He did look gassed to me.
Yeah.
Did you guys catch? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I felt like his opponent was pretty good too. He beat a bunch of up and like contenders, and you know he took a couple belts, and he was a good fighter. But I think Charlo did his thing.
Now, did you think that fight was competitive? The Jermell Charlo versus the Rosario, that was a competitive fight before he knocked him out. Did you think that Rosario was holding his own there in the middle rounds, right?
Yeah.
Eric thinks it was very one-sided. I thought it was
kind of one-sided. I thought Charlo was in control of the entire fight.
I thought it was a pretty competitive fight.
That's the way he made it look, but you know, Rosario, he was coming.
Yeah, even though Charlo got dropped, Rosario got dropped twice. I feel like he was like
still coming, right? He's landing. He was going to the. He was landing body shots. He was making Charlo work. You know, he kept Charlo honest.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that is, man. Like I said, man, it was an interesting fight, man. I thought that both Charlos I thought looked really good, but you know, you think at 160 though that Charlo's ready for Canelo at 160?
Of course,
I think maybe get a couple more fights in, and when he's ready, fight Canelo. That'd be a good fight.
Yeah.
he ain't ready right now, son. You talking about Canelo? You talking about Canelo, man? You said he just established himself with this guy. Canelo's already established himself, son. He's already there.
Charlo just got his master's degree last night.
Canelo's done had his though.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter, man.
Silly.
Got a master's at Harvard.
What's the matter with you?
Canelo had a master's at community college.
Oh my goodness.
It's a good fight. It's a good fight.
So once you guys now, how does this work? I mean, like when people come to you guys, all right, so you got this TV event on Saturday. So how does this work now? Once you guys finish these fights on Saturday and you're successful, they come back to you and say with another, are plans already on the table? Like, hey, after this one, we're going to want you to fight on this card and then this card and this card.
Yeah, something like that. You know, we have dates lined up.
So as long as you know we keep on going out there looking good, we'll be fighting a lot.
Yeah, as long as we do our job.
Yeah.
Wow. And so like are we looking at like every other month or every month, or I mean, how busy are you guys looking to stay?
Yeah, we got a pretty busy schedule. I say if not every month, every other month. So we'll be fighting a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Now, are these contracted weights, or what weight are you guys going in? Are you still at featherweight, the 122, I guess?
Yeah, 122. We both fight at 122.
Yeah, we fight at 122 right now. Yeah. I'm
gotcha.
fighting,
Okay. You're fighting at 124 for this fight? Gotcha.
This fight.
Okay. Gotcha. This is going to be crazy, Beeb. We've known these guys, you know, and we've interviewed them, and now they're getting ready to go back in there on live national TV.
Gonna keep following them, man.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Gonna keep following them.
It is crazy, man.
It's like this, like back in the day when I was on Rope a Dope Radio, and we used to interview Danny Garcia when he only had like 10 fights and stuff. It was and look where he is now. You know, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Same thing with Porter. When Porter had like 12 fights, we interviewed Porter, and look what like these guys became, you know, 2-time world champions. You know.
So how close on weight are you guys? Are you guys like, because this is like cut week, I guess. You know, you're fighting on the third.
Yeah, right now I'm on like 5 pounds over. I'm not nothing crazy, you know.
Yeah,
same thing.
Yeah, I'm not too far from weight. You know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So weight should be easy for you guys then. Oh man,
weight easy for us.
It always never been a problem for us, really.
Problem.
You know, we look so big for our weight class, but you know we're skinny, so yeah, we're just tall for our weight class.
Man, it's insane, Beeb.
Yeah.
Well, guys, Saturday, October 3rd on Fox Sports 1. And are you guys? Do you know what? Are you guys going to be the first fights, or will you guys be deeper into the card?
Yeah, we're gonna start the.
Yeah, we're gonna start the card. Yeah, so we'll be the first ones on there.
Oh, that's insane, man! I can't
Awesome.
wait. I can't wait. You know, we've seen you fight on. You know, like obviously, we've seen your fights on YouTube and stuff like that. But to watch it on Fox is going to be a whole different deal.
Yeah.
Does this feel different to you guys, or is this just business as usual because there's going to be no crowd?
Yeah. I mean, of course, it's gonna be exciting because it's on TV and everything. But I'm not nervous at all. I mean, we're just gonna go in there and box. This is what we've been training for. So we just gotta go in there and perform. Yeah.
All right.
Very good, man.
I'll be coming down there to give you some sparring in a couple weeks. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll be ready.
I would love to see them just.
I'll be ready. All right.
Just maul you.
I'm just giving you a heads up. I'm 195 pounds right now. I don't know.
How long do you think it would take? How many rounds do you think it would take you to knock out the Beeb? Maybe in a minute or two. Clip him a couple times.
Got the head movement now.
He's dangerous, man. He's dangerous. All right, guys, we're gonna let you go, man. Remember Saturday, October 3rd on Fox Sports 1. Don't miss it, man. You're gonna see these guys, and if you tune in, you better tune in fast because I'm telling you what, it's gonna be quick. It's gonna be fast. These guys are good. I'm not playing, man. These guys are great, man. All right, guys, take care. You can catch them on Instagram also at Chavez Barrientos and Angel Barrientos. And all right, guys, have a good one, man. Good luck.
Good luck, guys.
Good luck, guys.
Thank you.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Very good. Good stuff, man. Beeb.
That was a legitimate question.
It was not a legitimate question. Why? Okay, so let me ask you a question. I just want to see what headspace you're in. What headspace are you in where you say, okay, I've got a twin brother and I'm making out with this girl on the couch. And now I'm going to leave and let my brother come in and make out with the girl and finish it off. What is wrong with you? Where is this coming from? What are you talking about? Why is that fun for the brother who just left?
I don't know. It's like a team effort, I guess.
It's like a team effort.
It's like family bonding, right?
Are you on crack?
I don't know. I just have these every now and then. I just have these fantasies in my head. You know what I mean?
Hey, you need to lay off of Pornhub, man. You watch these stupid movies, and all of a sudden, you see twins. All of a sudden, blah blah blah.
I don't know, man.
What's the matter with you?
I don't know.
Again, how was that fun for the twin who left? And then his brother comes in and finishes the work.
It's kind of like you ever see that show Candid Camera?
Yes, it was an old show. Yeah, I have seen.
It's kind of like a prank to see if the girl could figure it out. You know what I mean? It'd just be funny to see if the girl could figure it out.
Let's say the girl does figure it out, Beeb. How do you think she's going to feel at the end of the day? What's the matter with you?
Yeah, that's true too. Trump 2020, Jason.
Oh, is Jason in there? Yeah.
Wait do you see what happens? Wait do you see what happens Tuesday?
It's gonna be a rough one, man. That's gonna be a rough one. I
feel bad. I feel bad for Biden after Tuesday.
Yeah, Trump can talk, man. Trump can talk, but
Trump
Biden sometimes slips. I don't know.
Trump is going to annihilate him.
I don't know though, but even I've always found out though. Like I've always found that no matter what it is, doesn't matter. Everybody's got their mind made up anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
We'll see.
There you go. All right, so we kind of run down the pay-per-view. Let's talk about the Brandon Figueroa versus Damian Vasquez. Figueroa wins via, I guess, TKO in the 10th round. That fight could have been stopped at any point. A couple of rounds earlier, man, to be honest with you. And listen, man, Figueroa did a good job. He did what he was supposed to do, but let me tell you what, he gets hit a lot.
See his face at the end of the fight?
Yeah, he gets hit a lot for my liking, man. I don't like it. And I think as soon as he steps up against any kind of class guy who knows how to box, he's going to have a big problem. As long as this guy's the matchmaking, listen, if you're a matchmaker, that's the guy you stay away from.
Just like Omar. What happened to Omar?
Yeah. You stay away from the guy that can box. You put him against guys that are going to stand in your face, sluggers, everything like that, and he's going to look great. The audience is going to love him. Yeah. But, man, I tell you what, at the end of the day, this is just not good.
I agree.
Not good.
I agree.
He's tough, and that's about it.
And he gets hit clean. Real clean.
Yeah. And he's a big guy, in his weight class and everything like that. So I get it, man, but man, he gets hit a lot. Let's talk about the guy, in my opinion, that kind of stole the show last night. Aside from the Charlos and everything, obviously, but the guy on the undercard that stole the show, John Rayo Casimero versus Duke Micah. Man, Casimero wins via third round TKO over Duke Micah. Micah was completely outmatched here. And I thought Casimero looked really good, but he's very flawed. But he looked very good. You kind of figure I'd like to see Eddie Reynoso work with him versus work with Neri. I think Neri was fine. I don't think Neri had any problems. I would like to see him work with Casimero versus Neri. But I don't know. But I thought he looked good. I thought he looked real good. Georgie, you're saying go to 508. I don't see 508 on the board. So press 1 or do whatever you need to do if you want to talk. Let's see here. We went over the Luis Neri versus Alameda, Danny Roman. That fight was just garbage times 20. It was not good. Payano had been knocked out his last 2 fights. And I think, listen, if I'm a matchmaker, that's the guy I like. But he made that fight way too difficult. Yeah. Danny Romero. I mean, Roman, and he didn't look good at all.
That was a real sloppy fight.
Really sloppy.
Yeah.
Really sloppy fight.
I don't know if these guys were nervous because it was their first time, maybe their first time on pay-per-view or something like that. But they didn't look good. It didn't. The fight just didn't have any ebb and flow to it, to be honest with you.
No,
it's really sloppy.
Not even a little bit. Yeah, it was just it was bad. And that's the fight that they came off the intermission with. That was bad.
Yeah, that was the only fight that I wasn't crazy about last night. I enjoyed every other fight, to be honest with you.
Yeah. The World Boxing Super Series, Beeb, was actually still going on. If anybody was actually paying attention to it. The Cruiserweight Championship, which was Maris Breidis versus Junior Dorticos. Breidis wins a majority decision by the scores of 117-111 twice and 114-114 a draw. With the win, Breidis wins the World Boxing Super Series Cruiserweight tournament that had already been decided last year by Usyk. Great. You won second place. That's what it boiled down to. I mean, really, that's what it boiled down to.
Yeah, I mean, but in fairness, Usyk's a heavyweight now, and he moved on, so someone's got to take the throne, right? Got to pass the torch to somebody.
I don't think they should. I mean, I don't know. They should have been a cruiserweight. Wait some time before.
Maybe wait another year and do it.
Yeah, again. Wait some time. Yeah, I mean, but you had a championship after. Notorious, I know that Usyk vacated all the titles. I get that, but it doesn't matter. I mean,
right.
I get that, but it's just, they had to do something, I guess. Well, no, they didn't, because they've already did it. I mean, they already did Cruiserweight. Yeah. They don't own the titles.
There was no sense of urgency. They didn't have to do it right away. I think Eric's right. Like no one was like, oh shit, we need to for someone to win that Muhammad Ali trophy again that was vacated. It's like,
right, exactly.
That's
the thing, man. That's the thing. So I don't know. Josh Taylor versus Aponin Kong Song on ESPN. I think it was on ESPN Plus. Josh Taylor knocked out the mandatory Kong Song in the first round with a left hook to the body. This was a complete mismatch. And let me tell you what, Bob Arum voiced his opinion after the fight, stating that he's going to start fighting the mismatches made by the sanctioning body. Good job for Bob Arum.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you what, man, that everybody knew the outcome of this fight before it took place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There was nothing. I mean, there's nothing left to. I mean, come on, man. Yeah. I mean, this guy didn't even belong in a. Josh Taylor is a special guy. He just murdered that guy, man. That wasn't even for what.
And the problem is it was a mandatory.
And it was and Notorious VC said it. I agree with that. It's a bad mandatory. You're right.
Horrible.
It was horrible, man.
Like they need to do something.
Yeah,
and you know what? This is why people get hurt. Everyone talks about the the weigh-ins and all this.
Right.
I think the biggest problem is the mismatches.
I think skill level. Right. Exactly.
That is the biggest problem, and it's the biggest reason why you see people get hurt. That's just my opinion.
I agree. I don't think there's any question about that.
Bob hit the nail right on the head. They got to do something about these matches.
Right.
They just got to make them more fair, more even.
I mean, I don't know. These fighters get mandatory status when they haven't beaten anyone. Nacho said the fighters get mandatory status when they haven't beaten anyone. He's right. I mean, nobody had heard of this guy.
He's 100% right.
Nobody had heard of this guy. How's he become mandatory? It makes no sense. All right, let's talk about our train wreck of the week this week. Beeb, your boy, Chavez Jr. versus Mario Cazares. So this was supposed to be a tune-up fight in Mexico, in Tijuana, for Chavez Jr. Instead, Chavez Jr. whined and cried through the entire fight to the referee about headbutts, everything like that. Listen, man, Cazares is just a rough fighter who came to fight, and I gave him just about every round. Chavez Jr. looked like he didn't want to be there at all. The end came in the 6th round after a punch opened up a cut over Chavez Jr.'s eye. It was a punch. We saw the review, we saw the replay, clear punch. Somehow it was ruled a headbutt, so they went to the scorecards. Even when they went to the scorecards, they 57-56, 59-54, 57-56 for Chavez Jr. Look, man, and a lot of people said he quit during this fight. The referee did stop the fight. My dad and I were watching this fight, and I'm like, why did they stop it so quick? I mean, that cut wasn't even that bad. I've seen worse cuts, put it that way, and that have not been stopped. That was bad. That was a real bad one. But Chavez Jr. loses. It's time for him to go, man. He doesn't want to be there. It's clear he didn't want to be there. I thought Chavez Sr. in the looked better against Jorge Arce in the exhibition fight. So, I mean, neither one of those guys looked that great either. But it was not good, man. It was just not good. So, yeah, train wreck of the week, son. All right, let's go to the phones here. 805, you're live.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Nacho, what's happening?
Nacho, who's the best middleweight in the world right now?
Much. Just,
He's not going against Canelo. Come on.
Who's the best middleweight? Who's the best middleweight in the world right now?
The best middleweight. I mean, I guess by default you'd have to say it is, Charlo, because Canelo's not going to campaign as a middleweight.
Canelo's a 168 now, son.
Super middleweight.
He's a 168.
Yeah,
now.
Exactly. So
do you think? Let me ask you this. Let me.
Really nobody else
does Charlo beat Canelo?
He gives him a fight, but I don't think he beats him.
Nah.
So yeah, do you see how long it took him to answer? You know what that tells you right there?
That there's pause on Blog Talk?
He wanted to say
there's a delay on Blog Talk. That's
he
why
wanted to say Charlo, but he was afraid. He was afraid to say Charlo. He was afraid to say Charlo because he wants to just go with the flow. He wants to be part of the echo chamber. That's what it is.
No, Beeb, come on now.
Come on, son.
Let's be honest here. Charlo beat Hugo Centeno, Sebastian Hyland, Brandon Adams, and Dennis Hogan.
Wait,
that's not exactly a line of killers that he fought.
Look what he did to Derevin. Look what he did. Look what he did to Dervinchenko, man.
No, I get it, Beeb, but at the same time, that's one guy. That's one guy that he finally beat that was actually, a good fighter. Before that, he was given 4 guys who had no shot of beating him. So at the end of the day, how can I give him?
Everyone's stuck in him. Everyone's stuck in the kid. No one wants to get in the ring with this kid.
Okay,
they know
but then we can make the same. We can make the same claim for Bud Crawford, but yet the haters come out and say, "Oh, well, he hasn't beaten anybody," and And that's what ends up happening. See, there's always going to be guys on both sides of the aisle. My whole thing is, to me, Charlo beat the best guy he fought last night, and he went the distance with the guy. He didn't knock him down. He didn't knock him out. He went the distance.
If you were, if you
it's
and
kind
I,
of hard to sit there and say he's the best guy.
If you and I were at a party and no one was around, and we just went into the corner and we just started talking boxing, just you and I asked you the question, I think you'd probably say Jermell Charlo is the best middleweight in the world. I just think you do that. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong, but I think you do it.
Well, like I said, Beeb, he's the best one by default because Canelo's not there anymore. Canelo has decided to basically move up. So, I mean, right now he stands to be the best middleweight.
If he was going to fight Canelo, right, and he was like a 3-1 underdog, would you lay like $50 on him? Think he'd be a live dog in that fight?
No, he would be. He would give Canelo a fight. I'm not saying.
Yeah, I think he
I'm
would
not
too.
saying Canelo would steamroll the guy.
Right.
No.
Now let me ask you this:
he would give Canelo a fight.
Percentage-wise, right? What would you call it? A 60-40 fight, or how would you break it down? Like what percentage? What percentage?
I would say
60-40. Okay.
If you had to put $100 down on somebody, who would you put it on?
Me or him?
Him. You had to bet that fight. Who do you bet?
I would say
bet on Canelo.
If I have to put 100, exactly.
It is.
I'm going with him because I think he's gonna do well enough to win that fight. I mean, I think Charlo is a good fighter, and don't get me wrong. I just think his resume at middleweight is a little thin to be calling him, like a better fighter than Canelo at this point. The guy fought a lot of very questionable competition before he beat Deverenchenko, who's the best guy he fought so far. So it's kind of hard to say his resume is that much better than Canelo's at this point.
Well, let me tell you what. Here's another interesting one. Kid Stacy and Frankie Fingers in the chat just said that they think Andre beats Charlo, and you know what? And you know what? That's a tough fight, man. I don't know. He looked really good last night, but Andre's really good too. He's a good boxer, and I think he would have a lot of. He would give him a lot of problems.
No, he wouldn't.
Oh, look at you! You're right. Remember Andy Ruiz? Remember when Andy Ruiz was coming in, and he came in like 30 or 40 pounds overweight, and you try to tell me that he had stuff in his pocket. It was, he was trying to play with the scales, everything like that. And he went out and just got a cane. He just went and
notice how they didn't show the bottom of the scale? You want to know why?
Why?
They had like 10 horseshoes on that scale.
10 horseshoes on the scale. He looked like he had 10 horseshoes the night of the fight. They tried to make Andrew Ruiz look bad. That's what it was. Stop it.
He was probably 5 pounds heavier.
Beeb, it's kind of hard to make a guy who weighs 290 look fat. It's kind of hard to make a guy who weighs 290 look fat.
No,
he is fat.
That scale.
There's no other way around it.
That scale was off.
Ruiz made himself look bad.
I bet you when he stepped on his bathroom scale in the morning, he probably only weighed about 272.
When he stepped on his bathroom scale in the morning, it said, "Will one of you please step off?"
So yeah, I mean, he had a good performance last night, but like I said, though, he by default would be the best middleweight in the division right now.
That's true because Canelo's up.
Canelo's not going to be fighting at middleweight anymore. Yeah, he's leaving the division.
So Nacho, let me ask you a question. Have you ever seen anybody get knocked out with a shot to the stomach like that?
No, that was honestly, guys, when I was watching the fight last night, I honestly thought Charlo had hit him below the belt. That's what I thought happened at first, because the way he took half a step back and then he fell flat on his back after, I was like, did he just have a delayed reaction to getting hit in the nuts? And then when the referee started counting, I was like, wait a minute. I was like, I thought he got hit below the belt. and I see the ref counting, and I'm like, that's a legitimate knockdown. And then he's writhing in pain, and like he can't even move. And I just keep seeing the ref count, and I'm like, wow, he's about to get knocked out just like that. And when he didn't beat the count, I was totally stunned. I have never seen a guy get hit with a jab to the belly and all of a sudden fold. That was incredible. I couldn't believe that. I was like, wow. And like I was saying earlier on the chat, Ishe Smith was on Twitter, and he even literally said, he goes, I've been in pro boxing for 20 years. He goes, I've sparred and I've fought numerous times. He goes, I have never seen a professional fighter get hit in the belly and get knocked out exactly like the way Rosario got knocked out last night.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I mean, I can't think of another fighter that ever got knocked out like that. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, the only thing I could think of is maybe Rosario might have had a pre-existing injury to his stomach that nobody knew about, and maybe the Charlo brother hit the right, part of his stomach, and maybe you never know. You never know. He could have gotten hurt or something, and he wasn't letting anybody know, and maybe the guy just found the right spot and hit him in the right spot. But yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, that was odd.
Yeah, that was just a crazy ending. It was.
But he looked like he was in legit
really
pain.
Odd ending.
I mean, he didn't look like he was acting. I mean, he looked like he was in legit
and that's what
pain.
I mean. Like, there's no way Rosario's that good of an actor that he's going to fake that pain. He looked like he was in
he looked like he was in pain
from the shot that he took. Yeah. So I'm not going to sit here and say he wasn't legitimately hurt, but it was an odd knockout, to say the least. I've never seen a guy get knocked out like that. So, it is what it is. But, hey, you give the guy credit. He's the best 154-pounder right now in the division, and pretty much anybody that fights him is going to have to, really go out there and put it on him to take those belts from him.
Yeah,
so,
I would agree.
I mean, we'll see.
All right, Nacho, we're going to get running, man. Thanks so much for the call.
All right, guys.
Thanks, sir.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, let's go to Jason, man. Jason, 706. 706, you're live.
What's going on, guys? Let me just talk about that real quick about that solar plexus shot. I just followed this nurse on Twitter. Let me just tell you what she said. She's RN. Her name is Maggie RNBSN on Twitter.
You follow a nurse on Twitter?
Rosario's body was spasming. Yeah, listen. She said Rosario's body was spasming. Listen, dude. Listen. Rosario's body was spasming and moving involuntarily. Can't act that. He was hit square in the solar plexus, huge bundle of nerves, not much muscle there to protect it, making it a vulnerable spot. It's part of the autonomic involuntary nervous system. So, it regulates breathing. That's what it was. He was just short of breath, and that's what happened. That's why he was like,
Jason, I'm impressed.
So I don't think he was acting. A lot of people act.
I'm impressed. That's good research.
Thank you, brother. Good to hear from you, man. It's been a long time.
It has been a long time. So why do you follow a nurse on Twitter?
There's nothing wrong with following a nurse on Twitter. Don't be a chauvinistic pig.
I can't ask you. You asked me about the twin. You asked about the twins earlier, tag teaming a chick. I'm asking him about a nurse on Twitter.
That is every man's fantasy. What's
to
wrong
give up
with that
to have like two dudes and a girl? That's his fantasy.
What's wrong with that question?
Two girls and a guy. Yeah, that's every guy's fantasy. I don't know what kind of fantasies you got where you got two dudes in the fantasy. I don't know.
You could bust the biggest nut. What do we call that?
What's the matter with you, son?
Oh, also, guys, man.
Stay off.
What do you guys think about
man?
I've been watching some highlights of GGG. Hey, I've been watching some highlights of GGG and Jermell. Jermell was fucking smacking GGG around from fucking like.
I thought he won the fight.
To the road, everywhere, dude.
Yeah, I thought he beat him in that fight.
Yeah, like GGG's whole body was being fucking thrown around the ring. I'm like, the people are acting like Charlo didn't have that much of a better performance than GGG. Montero was out there saying, "Oh, Sir Jermell was already washed up, so it doesn't really matter that much." I'm like, what? The guy has like 15 fucking pro fights. He's only 34 years old.
No, I don't think he's washed up. I don't think he was washed at all.
Jermell Charlo is by far the best middleweight in the world right now. He murks everybody.
Stop.
That was.
And I'm not even saying. I'm not even thinking
that was one of the best middleweight performances.
I don't know why Nacho's even arguing that. You know?
That was one of the best middleweight performances of all time.
That card, man. That card blows the shit out of us. I don't know when we're going to ever get a card that stacked ever again. You know? I don't know when we're ever going to get a card that
best middleweight performance. Come on, man. Stop it.
He took him apart last night.
I don't know. Listen, man.
Well, who else in the middleweight that were going to beat him? Hey, Eric, what is Andrade's best win? He's never done anything like that to anybody on Derevchenko's level.
I thought. Listen, man.
I can't even tell you.
You know what the odds?
I think Charlo was one of the best ones, man. I really do. He did a good job. He proved last night with Derevchenko. Okay, with Derevchenko, who arguably beat Jacobs, arguably beat Triple G. When he fought him, he had to go. You knew. I mean, Charlo was going to win the early rounds, but you knew Derevchenko was going to come hot.
Do you know what the odds
at the end of the fight?
Do you know what the odds were last night?
Charlo
was like a plus 120. It was
that was a close. They were close.
It was a pick. I picked Derevchenko to win. I thought Derevchenko was going to beat him.
Charlo posted a Charlo posted a betting ticket. Somebody posted a betting 20 grand on him, and he got like 37 back. So he won 17,000 on Charlo. So and did you guys see Drake? Drake's all of his Instagram are congratulating Charlo last night, like 5 times. Like Drake was like all over that fight too. 50 Cent was congratulating him. So these guys are fucking crossing over, and Mannix is saying, "Oh, these guys are fighting in anonymity. Nobody fucking knows them." I'm seeing fucking superstar with 72 million followers.
They know him now.
I'm like, what the fuck, dude?
He's commentating in anonymity. He's commentating in anonymity. That guy's commentating in anonymity. No one gives a shit what he says.
Oh, stop it, Beeb. He's got a family.
Yeah.
And Charlo's fight on Fox is 2.4 million. Those are UFC level ratings. They did 2.4 million on Fox. Boxing never does that. UFC does that, So people know Charlo. You guys actually nobody knows.
How do you think the pay-per-view did?
This is their first pay-per-view.
How do you think their pay-per-view did? Because I think the pay-per-view probably tanked.
I'm hearing it's up to 250 already. They're counting up to 250 already.
I don't think it goes that high.
By Tuesday, so they're on there.
I'll be shocked if it goes that high.
And this is the first.
Yeah,
what do you mean? Why wouldn't it? Dude, Kevin Iole predicted. Listen, Kevin Iole predicted that Spence versus Mikey would sell 125. He said Spence versus Porter would sell 125 also.
I'll tell you why.
The black fan base, Charlos are big in the black fan base. You guys don't know the fucking black public. They buy pay-per-views too. We're kind of like ignorant to that. We don't know.
Don't be surprised, Eric. Don't be surprised, Eric, if this doesn't top out at 500,000 pay-per-view buys.
No.
With another pay-per-view right on the side of it, right? Yeah.
Beeb, listen. Why do you think Geico and Proper fucking 12 wanted to sponsor that pay-per-view? Because they knew it was a big event. They don't fucking sponsor every pay-per-view. Geico and Proper Stavisky, those are big sponsors.
Proper 12, I'm surprised they were on there, man. They were pretty prominent. They were the main sponsor.
They were on Wilder period too. Also, they don't do all the events. They only do big events.
Once everything gets added, and this is going to be about 525,000 pay-per-view buys. That's my pick.
It doesn't need to do 500. If it does more than 200, it's success. It's the first pay-per-view, and Charlo's guarantees are not that big.
You know what?
Espinoza said Charlo's left money on the table because it's.
All kidding aside, it'll probably do about 270.
I think 150.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, I really don't care because I got my money's worth. I don't really care. I got my money's worth.
What would you grade? What would you grade?
What would you grade that pay-per-view?
What would you grade? I gave that pay-per-view a B+ last night. What did you?
I gave it a C. Yeah, I gave it a C.
Eric gave it a C.
Yeah, B+ is good. B+ is good. B+ is good. I think the Figueroa fight could have been better, better matchmaking and shit.
Yeah.
Probably Casemiro fight also. They could have given a tougher fight, but that's Sean Gibbons' matchmaking right there.
What about the whatchamacallit? That match coming off the paper with some Payano and that other dude Romero. That was horrible.
Yeah, he looked good. I thought he almost beat him. He looked good.
Dude, that was a horrible fight. That was a horribly boring fight.
Nah.
Horribly boring.
You don't like Daniel Ramon? He was kind of slipping.
No, I don't.
But Brandon Figueroa, man, he trains himself. He needs to get a trainer. He's stopping.
He needs to do something. Yeah.
So he doesn't have a trainer.
There it is. All right, Jason, we're gonna get running, man.
What do you guys?
Go ahead.
Listen. Derrick James is the only trainer. Listen. Derrick James is the only trainer in boxing with 2 unified champions. Can you remember last time a trainer had 2 unified champions? Beeb?
No, that's it's very rare.
Yeah, who? I'm trying to think of.
I think he's trainer of the year, and Charlo, the little Charlo, fighter of the year, because he knocked out Rosario and Harrison. Who the fuck else did that? These are top #1 contenders and champions. You know.
I'll tell you what. I can't for right now. I can't argue with that.
Eric, Nacho hates PBC, and he gave it a B- this pay-per-view.
So?
Yeah, B- is good. Solid B-.
What do you want me to do?
That speaks volumes right there.
That speaks volumes
right there. If
all right, Jason, we're going to get running, man.
Nacho hates the PBC.
Nacho hates the PBC, and he gave it a B.
He gave it a B-.
Wet my pants over that, you know? Like, what?
You have to at least
he's entitled to his opinion, too.
You have to at least bump it up to a C+.
I'm not a C+. I told you, I gave it a 76. That's as far as I'm going, man.
B+, a C+.
B+.
That's a C+.
All right, from Rikers, Georgie, 508, you're live.
Yeah, what's happening, people?
What do you rate that? What do you rate that? What do you rate that pay-per-view last night, Georgie?
Solid B+.
Yeah,
A.
That's what it's
right.
That's what it's even an A. He said even an A.
That's what.
Did you enjoy that 30-minute intermission, Georgie?
Listen, this is the best.
It would have been an A. It would have been an A if not for that intermission. If not for that intermission, it would have been an A.
Intermission was terrible.
If it would have been an A, if it wasn't for that intermission.
I know, there was a downside. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's a downside to it. But we're talking about the fight. It was nothing but cracking his skulls.
Those are quality matchups. Those are quality matchups.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm subscribed to few boxing channels, and I see this one of the boxing channels got me this notification, and I see it, and this dude's talking about how 154 and Rosario was overrated, and I'm like, how the fuck you are hardcore, and you're talking about 154 as being overrated? That's nothing but killers there. 154, you got to go all the way to heavyweight to find that type of danger.
This is your best call of all time. This is your best call of all time. I'm gonna download this episode and just make an MP3 of it so I can keep it. This is your best call of all time.
He might be caller of the year, Beeb.
Listen, bro.
He might be caller of the year.
There's no way. Listen, there's no way Rosario was overrated on that. I don't give a fuck. He beat the man. So what you thinking? J-Rock from Philly, he's overrated? What the fuck niggas talking about, man? 154 pounds. He's the best fucking division we got there.
That was a quality win. That was a quality
win. Sort of like in this name.
That was a very.
In 154 pounds, we see the combination of speed and power. When you go to the highest level of the division, it's more to the power. And until you get to the heavyweight, the power is just power and speed's really not there. And when you go from 154 pounds down, it's all speed. Shit happens really quick. You see the 118, 122 pound fight? Shit is like flash. So there is this quality about 154 pounds that a lot of people don't see, bro. That shit is beautiful. Listen, Banana went there with the motherfucking spirit of a warrior. This nigga went more in there and brought fucking honor to his fucking village. This motherfucker went there.
He went down from a body jab, son.
Baby.
A body jab. A jab to the body, son, put him down. Think about that for a minute.
But that's what I'm saying. The man was already hurt before. And then like this man is fresh in the first round. I mean, Charlie's putting hands on him.
When you can drop someone.
It is weird. Listen. This is when crazy comes. Listen to me, because this is the call of the year. I think I got to say this. Baby, you got to believe in magic. magic is real. That belief that the motherfucker not gonna get denied, and the other motherfucker say, you know what? Yeah, you're gonna get denied. Whoever believe is gonna be higher, it can translate into that bullshit point that we don't see that then can connect and create so much damage. That's magic.
Tell him, Georgia. He don't know.
You don't look like shit, but it is. The intention is there. Because Charlo wasn't about to get denied by no fucking body. Listen, a lot of people call me racist. These, that, or the third. But listen, the Charlo, they got it, baby. You got to give. Maybe you don't like what the fuck they say, but as a boxer, as a man, you got to respect these motherfuckers, bro. Period. That's it. Nothing else to say.
Jermell Charlo is the best.
Listen, shout out to the UK. World. Shout out to the USA. I gotta go. I'm out.
All right, Georgie. All right. That's a good call, Beeb.
That was his best call of all times, man. He made all great points. There's not one bad thing he said throughout that whole call.
That speaks volumes.
You know what it is? He's been listening to me, and I'm starting to rub off on him a little bit. My knowledge is very contagious.
Like Corona.
That's right. That's right.
304. I think this is Virginia, maybe. Is 304, you're live.
Is this kid Stacy?
I don't know.
It's Christian. What's going on, Eric?
Christian, what's going on, man?
What's going on, Beeb?
How you doing, my friend?
Christian. Man, I'm a big time caller. Oh my God, I watch you guys every day. So I'm a big fan of Eric, Robbie, Beeb. I made a lot of money fucking with you. Sorry for profanity.
You know how it is with me.
But this is,
you know the Beeb, man. You know the Beeb.
Yeah,
Beeb is like a hedge fund. Beeb is like a hedge fund that can't.
I donated money.
He's like a hedge fund.
It's my first time call ever. I just got off work.
That's awesome, man.
You know what I do for a living?
What do you do?
I'm a physician, actually, and I watch you guys every day.
Thank you, bro.
So,
that's
my
awesome.
question is to you: How will Jermell Charlo fare against Canelo? Do you think he could beat him? Steve
knocks out Canelo. He's gonna stop Canelo. He'll stop Canelo.
Well, here's the deal. We thought about this too.
Charlo's the best middleweight in the world right now. He'll stop Canelo.
Well, where do they have the fight? First off, they have it at 160 or 168.
I don't know, man.
I don't think he beats Canelo.
So?
I don't think he beats Canelo.
Charlo is getting better in every fight. Canelo's
already there.
Canelo peaked. Canelo's peaked. Canelo wears a knee brace now in training. He's breaking down.
Listen, I'll tell you what. Here's the deal: is that we can him and haw about the win last night, and it was a good win. It was a good win last night against Derevyanchenko. Okay, it was a good win. However,
he hurt him.
However,
so bad. And
Derevyanchenko got this fight on two losses. Two losses.
He was so with Derevyanchenko last night.
I picked Derevyanchenko.
I watch out every day.
I picked Derevyanchenko. Jermell Charlo made me eat my words, man. I went on Amazon last night and I bought myself a Jermell Charlo t-shirt, man. Forget it. Forget it. I'm converted.
Do you think
I'm converted? He's my second favorite. He's my second favorite fighter right now in the sport of boxing.
I think Canelo over Jermell Charlo. I do. I think his reaction time is better.
Yeah.
He'll come over his jab and hit him with the right hand.
Much better boxer, much better slugger.
Charlo is a monster. Look how big Charlo is. He's a monster. Look at that uppercut on the inside. Oh my God.
Rocky Fielding. What are you talking about? He was huge.
Reaction time is so
Canelo was being outboxed. He was being outboxed by Sergey Kovalev. Sergey Kovalev was winning that fight.
You know he comes over the right hand.
Charlo's too big.
Know, man.
He's too big.
I think Canelo's reaction time is better than Charlo.
Much better.
No way.
Much better. Caller's always right. Much better.
And then Beeb, this is the only question I have for you. How did that jab from Jermell beat Jeison? It looked like he came when hit on the canvas. Did you see him like convulsing and everything?
That's That's going to be number one on the. That's going to be number one on. Listen to me. That's going to be number one on the unsolved mysteries list for a long time. How that jab knocked him out.
Well, I tell you what. When you see Rosario rolling around in the new Benz, you'll know what happened.
Steve, you know you're my boy, but that hurt him so bad. He was hurt. I thought I had to call in a goddamn my uncle or somebody from the hospital. He was hurt. Do you see it? It looked like he was on the canvas.
It looked wild, didn't it?
You want to know why? You want to know? You want to know why that happened? You want to know exactly why that happened?
Why?
You can't fuck with Lions only.
Go, Beeb.
You cannot fuck with Lions only right now. I'm just telling you the truth.
Beeb, why don't you ask the caller if he's ever double teamed a chick with his friend, just like you asked our guest earlier? Why don't you?
That was a legit question.
It was not legit.
That was a legit question. That was a legit question.
Oh my God! It looked like he had an orgasm on the canvas.
Didn't it? He was just like sitting there convulsing, man.
That was sad, Beeb. And Eric, it was shout out to Robbie. I don't know what he's doing right now. He didn't pay for his pay-per-view because I know he's cheap as hell. But it looked like, hey, Eric, it looked like he had an orgasm when Jermell hit him with a left jab. He was hurt. Robbie, what's Beeb? Break it down. Why did it hurt him so bad? Because it was a jab.
You want to know why?
He doesn't even hurt anybody with a jab.
You want to know why?
His older brother
cannot.
Because he got dropped 500,000 on that fight.
You cannot fuck with Lions only. It's just a fact. It's just a fact.
That's my first time calling it, and I watch y'all every day.
Lions only. Lions only, man.
Go ahead, Steve. Lions only, Steve. Eric. So Eric, I think Eric will pick Canelo over Jermell Charlo.
Yeah.
160. I don't know, man.
I will bet.
Yeah, he beats Charlo. He beats
no
Charlo.
way.
Sure.
Charlo's getting better with every fight, man.
I think so too. Eric, I think so too. I think Canelo's reaction time is so much better.
No way.
But
you see how we timed Derevyanchenko with that right uppercut? Canelo can't dissect like that. He can't dissect. He can't dissect like that.
Exactly.
He went life and death with. He went life and death. He went life and death with Golovkin. He went life and death with Golovkin.
Triple G.
Canelo went life and death with Golovkin. He lost both.
Life and death with him.
He lost both fights. He lost both fights to Golovkin. He lost both fights to Golovkin. And
the second fight, son.
That was questionable. That was questionable.
Right.
Murked him.
That was questionable.
Questionable. And if they fight again, it's going to be even worse.
I'm so happy I called in for the first time ever. Man, you don't even know, man. I'm so ecstatic right now.
Listen.
Oh my God! What's the boy from New York? What's his name?
Jesse Reekin.
Jesse Reekin.
Oh, Danny Jacobs. Danny Jacobs.
Answer.
Yeah, Danny Jacobs.
Danny Jacobs.
Knocked him out.
Look at Danny Jacobs. Danny Jacobs won 5 rounds. Danny Jacobs won 5 rounds against Canelo. Danny Jacobs won 5 rounds against Canelo. That fight was razor close.
That fight was not razor close.
And look what Derevyanchenko.
That fight was not razor close.
Look what Derevyanchenko did to Danny Jacobs. Look what Derevyanchenko did to Danny Jacobs.
Jacobs beat him. Triple G beat him. Now Charlo beats him. And then you're wondering, and then you got the audacity to say he's coming off of 2 losses, talking about he's the best fighter out. Come on,
Canelo went life and death with Jacobs. He
beat a fighter coming in with 2 losses, son. 2 losses.
Jacobs almost won that fight against Canelo. That was close.
2 losses. He was coming in 2 straight losses. Stop it.
Canelo lost. Canelo should have lost to Golovkin the first time.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda, didn't. That's the way it goes.
And my thing is,
Jacobs won at least 5 rounds in that fight.
I left the hospital.
Even I get that fight was a draw against Canelo.
Is it a sure shot? Is Manny fighting Connor?
We're going to talk about that later on, but you know, I tell you what, it's a lot closer than I thought it was. I thought it was just like, Connor tweets out dumb stuff, but apparently his people, apparently Manny's
first round if he really presses him.
In the Filipino newspaper, they actually confirmed it and said that Manny is going to give a big portion of his purse to charity. So I don't know.
Tell you one thing, Manny Pacquiao ain't going to carry. Manny Pacquiao ain't going to carry my
I know you guys never covered this, but I got to talk to my boy Eric. Are you fluent in Spanish?
Is what?
Are you Spanish?
He's Mexican.
You look like you speak Spanish.
Yeah, I'm Mexican.
You Mexican? Que pasó, caballero?
I don't speak Spanish. I speak enough to get beat up in Tijuana, but that was about it.
I can order a meal. I can pick up a girl and order a meal.
I just wanted to say
Spanish fight. He can order some Spanish fly.
Robbie, you're my main man. I call and listen to you guys every day.
Oh, that's awesome,
Sunday,
man.
Actually, man, I look forward to you guys every day, man. Just keep it up. Keep up the good work. I like everything. I tell Corey and Jake. What? Jason hasn't been on. He's crazy as hell. Jason
he was just on. Yeah, he was just on.
He was just on, dropping
on. Yeah.
One of his best calls of all time.
Oh my God. And Coach is the caller of the year. Fuck what you heard. Man, that's my boy, man. I'm like, Coach. That's my man.
I think Eric.
Coach is my main man.
I think Eric banned Coach because Coach kept schooling him every week, so he won't let him.
He's scared. He got scared. He doesn't want to call in no more, man. I don't. You know what? Quite honestly, I don't blame him. I don't blame him.
Coach is my boy, man. And then, hey, to be honest with you, Beeb, I made so much money off you. I remember when you were talking with Thunderdome Boxing, all this, and I was like, man, get his ass. Get his ass, Beeb. I was like, get his ass, man.
People don't realize.
All you guys.
Beeb's the truth.
Once I unleash the power of the Beeb force, you can't fuck with me. You know that.
Beeb Industries. It's Beeb Industries for a reason.
I know he can't. And he got so mad. I remember. He was like, he was gritting his teeth and all this bullshit. I was like,
he was so mad. He's
just smarter than him. That's all that is.
All right, my man. We're gonna get running here.
But Eric,
don't be a stranger. You got to call back in. All right.
Call back in. All right.
I'm gonna keep calling, man. This is my first.
For sure.
I'm fresh off of work, man. I went to happy hour. I got drunk. Called my boys. I called Eric. I called Beeb, Ringside Robbie, man. All you boys, man.
All right.
Take it easy.
All right, man. Good stuff, man. First time caller. Look at that.
I didn't have the heart to tell him that Ringside Robert's not part of the show anymore. I didn't want to put a damper on things.
Oh, he's still part of it. I think he's still part of it.
Yeah, we'll let him back.
Yeah, we'll let him back on. Well, I'll let him back on. You won't. You'll talk.
No. We can renegotiate.
We'll pull into zone and renegotiate his contract.
We'll restructure his deal. I'm not gonna let him write off those free lunches to the expense account.
That's right. 804 Corey, what's up?
Corey, mother effing Lee, boxing. Yeah. Corey, tell him Charlo knocks out Canelo. Tell him, Corey.
You can't because it doesn't happen. He said, I mean,
I'm gonna have to side with Canelo, man.
Boom.
I think Canelo beats Charlo. Yeah, I mean that's my personal opinion. We all got opinions, but Beeb,
that's all right.
You picked against Charlo, didn't you?
I did.
He did.
I did. I'm a believer now, though. I'm a believer now.
So that's why you're going on this. That's why Beeb. I think that's why you're going on this Hall of Fame Charlo.
That's 100% right. That is 120%.
You've been riding that.
He's riding the lion's mane now.
I hold Derevyanchenko in very high regard. Very high regard.
He lost the two biggest fights he was in. Now the three biggest fights.
He beat Golovkin. He got robbed. And he beat Jacobs. He beat Jacobs. He beat Jacobs and he beat Golovkin.
I told you before the fight, didn't I? Didn't I tell you before the fight? The one thing I said was he's getting this, and we're putting a lot of stock in him to coming in this fight on the two biggest fights he had were losses.
Eric, You're right. When you're right, I'm not going to tell you you're wrong, Eric. I'm not going to tell you you're wrong. Can't argue that. But
I mean,
in my heart, I know something different. In my heart of hearts, I watched that Golovkin fight with Derevchenko 20 times, and I could not find a way to give Golovkin that fight. I couldn't. I'm sorry, Corey. I don't want to hijack your call. I'm being very rude here.
That must show you like how much Golovkin has left. You know what I mean? If a guy like Derevchenko, an older guy like Derevchenko, you had winning and you hold in high regard like that. You know what I'm saying? That must show us like what Triple G possibly has left in the tank. I'm gonna go on record now and say I think if Triple G fights Canelo in a third fight in a trilogy, I'm gonna actually bank on Canelo knocking him out.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Triple G is the same fighter. I think him leaving Abel Sanchez was a bad move. I don't think that any of the good training habits that Triple G had at Big Bear, training with Abel Sanchez on a stringent regimen, I don't think any of that's done with Banks. And I'm not trying to sit on Banks, but I really don't believe in Banks as a trainer at this point, man. To deal with a high-level fighter like Triple G, what high-level fighters have Banks even trained before? Now, I'm not saying that he has to train a Hall of Fame fighter to have the chance to train Triple G, but at some point, you're like, what's going on? I mean, even Triple G in his last fight against Rose, one of the fights when he fought Rose, I mean, that didn't show us a lot. Andre Ward said it best. He said, Charlo fought for 12 rounds. And I've seen more and learned more about Charlo in those 12 rounds than I've seen in any of his first round knockouts on Twitter. So, and that's coming from Andre Ward, a boxing legend and a future Hall of Famer. Which a lot of people hold Andre Ward in high regard. He says that, I think people listen. People listen to what Andre Ward says in general. He's a man of character, and he has
I always listen to Andre Ward.
For the boxer.
I always listen to Andre Ward.
Yeah, man. I interviewed Andre Ward twice, and while he was
you did
talking, nobody interrupted him. Nobody in the media.
I love Andre Ward. I love Andre Ward. I'm a huge Andre Ward did the play he covered the fight with Teofimo Lopez when he fought the Asian guy, the MGM Grand, and I had top ranked ESPN credentials for that fight. And I interviewed everybody. I was the only media member to get a post-fight interview with the trainer of the guy that died. I can't remember his name right off top.
I know who you're talking. Cologne?
Man.
Was it Cologne?
Oh,
Not
man.
Cologne.
No,
I know who you're talking. I know who you're talking about.
It was Davashev or something, right?
Yeah. I know.
Right?
Yeah. People don't realize Corey Lee Boxing is VIP status now. Corey Lee Boxing is VIP status. Corey Lee Boxing can just like walk into locker rooms now with people don't even stop him. People don't even stop him.
I've seen it happen.
Corey Lee Boxing walks into locker rooms unscathed. Unscathed.
Hey, I walked into the J-Rock dressing room and got an interview with J-Rock and Breadman with no credentials in their locker room. With no
you know what your best interview was? The Jared Hurd interview.
Yeah, that was good. That was good.
That was a killer interview.
That was your best one. It really was. That was really good.
That was an awesome interview.
The post-fight one after he lost?
Yep.
That was killer.
That was it.
That was killer.
That was the one.
That was the best interview you ever did.
I appreciate that, y'all. That was another fight. That was
That was another one where I was the only one that got a post-fight interview from all the media members.
That's
Nobody
straight
got
exclusive right there.
Yep.
That's straight exclusive. Who wants to do a one-on-one after they lose like that? No one does one-on-ones after they lose.
And his demeanor in that interview was really good. I thought Corey's demeanor interviewing him was really good. Corey, because he kind of knew he knew it was a grim situation and everything like that, and he did good, man.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that, y'all. But moving forward, what'd you say, Beeb?
I'm about to say you're straight G status right now. There's no without question, straight G status. I can't even be argued anymore at this point. Just can't.
I appreciate that, man. But, a lot of these media members need to get more credit than they do, man. Y'all put on a lot of videos and stuff like that and take time out of y'all day to cover the sport. And some weeks, man, it's not even. I ain't gonna say it's not worth covering, but some weeks you're grinding at your teeth. Like, how are we gonna make an hour out of this show? It was no fight. Yeah. And y'all still find a way, man. So salute to y'all, man. Salute to y'all. For real. But moving forward with the fights, man. Charlo, I think Rosario versus Charlo. I think Charlo showed us a lot. In that fight. But I mean, what were we really getting in Rosario? Were we getting an A-class fighter? Were we even getting a B-class fighter? Was Rosario just was that just a lucky punch and he caught Julian J. Rock Williams at the right time? What were we really getting from Rosario as an opponent? As a champion, I just feel like he's a champion, but I just feel like he walked into that fight as an opponent, though. It just was weird. It was weird. I've never seen a champion walk in there like that.
Rosario, I told you guys before the fight, Rosario wasn't going to be competitive.
You picked the knockout. You said he was going to knock. You said he was going to get stopped.
Yeah,
you called it. Imagine if you bet. The stoppage.
Hey, I'm going to put on my
a lot of money.
Hey, I'm going to put on my Instagram. I chose a 7th round knockout. I'm in Champ Ross's prediction league, and I chose a 7th round knockout for Charlo versus Rosario and a unanimous decision for. I actually picked Devin Chinko to win, but I was 1 round off for the Charlo fight, man. Can y'all believe that? 1 round, man. I was like, damn. But yeah, man, I thought Devin Chinko, and Charlo versus Rosario. The 8th round knockout was crazy, man. I never seen a knockout like that. I never seen somebody get iced like that, in the midsection like that.
No, that was odd. That was odd.
That was almost like the Bruce Lee, like 6-inch punch, man.
Yeah, that was weird. Never seen that before.
Do y'all think that Rosario was like 100% real with that reaction of being knocked down like that? Do y'all think any of it was like, I don't want to get in anymore, or
I don't know, man. I tell you,
start shaking on the ground.
I think it was legit. I mean, I do think it was legit.
Yeah.
Because I mean, he's not going to sit here and overact on it. You know what I mean? But I mean, I think it was legit. I don't get it. I mean, I've never seen it. But again, I'm not in there for 8 rounds with Charlo. And then the Barrientos twins. I think it was Angel said that he was gassed. That he thought he was gassed in that fight. So if he's that tired and he gets hit in the stomach, takes the wind out of you, yeah, I mean, all right.
Yeah, I mean, he could have been. He could have been wearing down, and that was probably the result of him.
Like I said, man, I get the fight, and I get that he got another title out of it. I understand that, but that was not. I hated that matchup from the start. So, all right, Corey, we're gonna get running, man. Make sure to catch Corey Lee Boxing on YouTube. You just go to YouTube and do Corey Lee Boxing. Let's go to the next caller here, 972. I think this is Texas, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe Dallas. 972, you're live.
I don't
know. I can't understand.
That's the only way she gets the hotspot from where it connected.
All right. Enough. All right. Let's go to the news and rumors real quick and get you guys out of here. Let's see here. Oh, we didn't do the upcoming fights. Let's see the upcoming fights real quick, Beeb.
Hey, good schedule coming up.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad. September 30th. From London on ESPN Plus, Ryan Walsh versus Jazza Dickens. 10 rounds for the Golden Contract Tournament featherweight final, if you guys have been following that. O'Hara Davis versus Tyrone McKenna, 10 rounds for the Golden Contract Tournament junior lightweight. Those aren't bad fights. Not bad fights. No, not bad fights.
Those are pretty competitive fights on paper, too.
Yeah, they really are. All right, let's talk about October 2nd on Telemundo. Just says boxing. There'll be Telemundo boxing on October 2nd. October 3rd, Las Vegas on ESPN Plus. Jose Zepeda versus Ivan Baranchik, 10 rounds junior welterweights. Gabe Flores versus Ryan Kazuski, 8 rounds lightweights. And Duke Reagan versus the dreaded TBA will be on there. Beeb, Duke Reagan is a highly touted prospect from Titletown. That's right. Right here.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on him.
Titletown. Yeah, he's supposed to be he's a really good fighter. Top Ranks just signed him. Can't wait to see him. It's going to be, he's one to watch for sure.
We'll keep
and then, of course, October 3rd, we have Premier Boxing PBC on Fox Sports 1 with the Barrientes. They're on there. Let's see what else here. On DAZN, October 4th, Joshua Buatsi versus Marco Calic, 10 rounds light heavyweights. Adriana Dos Santos Arujo versus Chantel Cameron. Come on, get out of here with that. I'm gonna tell you right now, DAZN has been putting on nonsense this year. It really has, and that's the end of the card. DAZN has been putting on straight nonsense, son.
I haven't been impressed with a DAZN
straight up
in a long time.
No, terrible. I mean, straight terrible, son.
The best fight that's been on the DAZN this year. Well, not this year. Well, yeah, this year. The best fight that's been on the DAZN this year is probably Katie Taylor versus Pursoon.
That wasn't even that good. That was a headline. Wasn't it a headline? Or was that a co-main?
That was a co-main.
Who was the headline on that?
Dillian White, I think, versus Bebekin.
That was the best fight they've had this year.
Yeah.
That was the best fight. That was their big headliner right there.
Yeah, we got lucky that, because it was an upset. That's what made it such an eventful fight.
Otherwise, it would have been. It was one of those fights where we're going to watch it, but
everyone talks about, it's great to have DAZN. It's better than pay-per-view. Okay, that's fine, but it's not like they promised that we would be getting pay-per-view quality fights,
and you're not.
And we're not
even close.
Not even close.
And listen, man, you're going to have weeks. You're going to have weeks where you have, the fights like they got on DAZN this week and stuff like that. I get that. But they have had squat this year.
No, they haven't been.
It's like they're not even trying.
It's been so inconsistent with this. Their schedule has been so inconsistent.
Yeah.
It really has.
Tone says, will you be renewing your DAZN subscription when it's up? I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I don't know.
I will. I'm a loser.
We're both losers. What am I doing? I paid for the Charlo fight last night. What am I doing with myself? Sometimes you got to sit back. This is, like the Barrientes guys, I mean, what are they, 17, 18 years old? They're 18 years old now. They're out there. They're making money, living the life of Riley out there. I look at myself. What was I doing when I was 17? What am I doing now? I'm such a loser, Beeb. I don't know. All right, news and rumors. What's that?
Hope you're so hard on yourself.
That's true. That's very true. News and rumors. Alexander Usyk versus Derek Chisora is set for October 31st. That's going to be a good one, man. I'm looking forward to that one. And I think that obviously Usyk is going to be the big favorite in there. But the thing about this fight, man, is that he's a big guy. Chisora is a big guy. And I want to see how they match up there.
I'm really interested in that fight.
That's an interesting fight for me. I want to see how he stacks up against a big heavyweight. All right. According to Mike Coppinger, he says that Devin Haney and Yuriorkis Gamboa, this is what he tweeted out, that Gamboa and Devin Haney are in the process for being finalized on November 7th. All right. Haney was in talks to fight Gary Russell Jr., but Russell turned down a package that included $1.5 million with a rematch clause. Gary Russell is a fraud. Okay, because he's gone on Twitter. Wow. He's told everybody but Santa Claus he wants to fight Devin Haney. He wants to fight Tank. He wants to fight blah, blah, blah. They offer him the Terrence Crawford. They offered him the fight. They gave him offers. He turns them down. Come on. Are you serious, man? 1.5? How much you making now to fight once a year? You know what I mean? Stop it. I don't get it, man. I don't get it.
He's a disappointment.
He is. And you know what? The worst part about Gary Russell is he could have been the biggest star out there. He really could have. He had talent.
Shitloads of potential, right?
Yeah.
Shitloads.
Yeah, but you can't make money off potential, you know? So, Canelo looked to restructure his contract with DAZN. According to The Athletic, DAZN offered Alvarez a restructured deal during the mediation process. Sources said that would pay the Mexican icon upward of $20 million guaranteed per fight, along with the upside tied to how many DAZN subscribers each event generates. It's similar to the way the boxers are paid for pay-per-view and everything like that. And I also read that he would have a choice on his opponents. He would have the final say on his opponents, where apparently in the deal he's in now, that doesn't happen. How sad is this? I mean, really, like, he gets his contract for $365 million and is not aware of the ins and outs of it. He's only aware of what he's told by his guy that he's supposed to trust. De La Hoya is a scumbag. He really is.
I've been telling you that.
He's a scumbag.
He sucks.
$20 million a fight, though. I think Canelo deserves it. I think he's been, because apparently that's the other thing I read, that he hasn't even received his minimum for the fights yet. For like all the fights that he's fought with DAZN, he hasn't even received a minimum yet. Yeah, so, dude, like,
and everyone was sitting there saying, "Oh, why doesn't Wilder just sign with DAZN?" Really? He was on the Forbes list this year, and he made more than Anthony Joshua, and he wasn't on the DAZN. So he must be doing something right. Everyone's like, "Oh,
money to be made." He's making money now. So listen, what's the matter?
That's the thing.
But listen, I told you when this whole thing got started, that they were going to find a way to work this out. There's too much money on the table for it to not work.
Well, I'm going to tell you one thing right now. He may walk. I think he's going to walk.
I don't know that he has that option.
I think he does.
I mean, he's under contract. I don't know that he has that option.
He's under
they
contract.
Can restructure that contract.
No, he's under contract with Golden Boy. He's under contract with Golden Boy. He's not under contract with DAZN.
I don't know. I don't know.
No, he's under contract with Golden Boy because they're the promoter.
Well, even still, there's a contract there. It's going to be. It's hard for him. I imagine it would be hard for him to break that contract.
Why? The contract's been breached. You can't.
Depends on what the lawyers say. It depends on what the lawyers say. I mean, I know where you're going.
It depends what the judge says, but
yes, yeah, for sure.
There is a strong argument that contract has been breached because Golden Boy gave him a contract that said they would pay him $35 million a fight. That said he could pick and choose the opponents. The contract that he has with Golden Boy has been breached. Simple and plain.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's up to the judge. I mean, you know how arguments go. I mean, OJ was guilty too. So, I mean,
yeah.
Hey, I mean,
well, again,
he had, all the evidence in the world and didn't go their way. So
I think, I mean, if it was so cut and dry, then I mean, we wouldn't be where we're at right now, right?
Yeah. I would think so.
Well,
I think they obviously got a case there. I mean, they told him to go to mediation. They don't want to listen, man. There's too much money. Nobody wants to.
If I was Canelo, you know what I would do? I would probably say, okay, I'll take the $20 million, but I don't want to stay for 11 fights. That's what I would say.
That's interesting. Like cut it in half or something.
Yeah, I wouldn't stay for 11 fights. I would say, yeah, all right, I'll take the $20 million. Let's make it a 5-fight deal. That's what I would do. I wouldn't lock in for it. Because again, I don't care what anyone says. Pay-per-view is where it's at. In order for a fighter to maximize his earning potential, there's always going to be that opponent that comes along, like Golovkin.
Yeah.
like Fury versus Wilder, Fury versus Joshua. There's always going to be that mega event, and in order to maximize the earning potential of that event, it has to be on pay-per-view. That's it.
Yeah, it's tough to argue. I mean, it is tough to argue, but that's how they're paying the fighters. I mean, it really is. So what are you gonna do? All right, the last one here. Listen, man, this is so crazy to me. But after the first one, man, I'm never gonna doubt that anything can happen. Anything can happen, man. Pacquiao and McGregor are in talks. Apparently, there's a lot of buzz coming around this fight in the last week or so. McGregor tweeted out that he was fighting Manny Pacquiao next. It was actually confirmed by a Filipino newspaper that stated Manny will give a good amount of his purse to people affected by COVID in the Philippines. They said he is going to take the fight. The fight is said to be taking place in the Middle East. Nothing official, obviously, yet, but it sounds like they're in talks.
I would not be surprised to see that fight happen.
I would not. Will you watch it? Will you pay for it?
Of course.
What am I asking? Look at us, man. What was wrong with us?
Of
dude?
course. Does a pigeon eat its own? Does a pigeon eat its own shit?
I've never witnessed that. No, I don't know.
They do.
All right, I'm gonna take your word for it.
Go to a park one day if you have nothing to do one day and just sit there for a couple hours. You'll see it.
All right, I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna go out of curiosity and see if that happens. I know we'll watch it. It won't make as much as the Mayweather fight because I think the intrigue now is gone. Like the whole the circus atmosphere for it is, it's like it can happen. Before I didn't know that it could happen. I mean, this is weird, like these two things crossing or whatever. But yeah, there you go. All right, guys, that'll do it for this edition of Ringside Reporter. As always, you can catch Joe Habib on Twitter at JHabib1. You can catch me on Twitter at Ringside73. You can find our YouTube channel at RingsideReporterLive.com. And we will catch you guys next week.